There we go. So, but as you were saying, you have a hairstylist, and she does all your makeup, or she does your hair. She also does makeup.
No, she doesn't do makeup.
Oh,
That's
she doesn't do
a
makeup.
different artist for that. First time around, it was Stephen Dwyer. He's a colleague of mine, and he did a lot of special effects makeup, and does all these side projects. He works as a programmer for the World of Warcraft game team,
Okay.
and he's amazing. He did like a special technique to get that muddy look on the streaks, the blue streaks for Drogo.
Yeah. So I think we're still having trouble with your cam, but at this point, why don't we just keep going since
Sure,
the
sure,
audio is going well?
sure. Yeah, perfect.
Um, so I saw, was it a masquerade or what were you doing for the Anubis cosplay?
Oh, interesting. So a bit of background on that. I There's one colleague of mine and a friend of that colleague. Um, Both are costume makers and costume designers, and they work together. Name is Nora Hawley, and then Jessica Johnson. They do costumes, and were the ones that actually made my Drogo outfit.
Okay.
And back in May, actually last year, they when we started to do this Drogo thing, they said, "Hey, are you interested in doing this myth masquerade thing with us? You know, we're planning to do this Egyptian ensemble, these deities, and we wanted to see if you're interested in being Anubis." And I'm like, "Hell yeah! You know, that's awesome. Who doesn't want to be the god of death? You know, of Egypt?
Yeah.
It's awesome." So yeah, they I didn't I, I I didn't have to do a whole lot, you know, just maintaining the physique, but they were just interested in having me as a model, walking around and displaying their creations. So Jessica Johnson, she made the helmet, and Nora Hawley did the rest of the ensemble, which is the skirt and the hanging pieces across my chest.
Very cool.
But Myth Mask is this masquerade in Los Angeles. It's held yearly. It's very interesting. Yeah, I've never been to a masquerade before. Usually, when I dress up, it's conventions. But
Yeah.
this masquerade is it's a very interesting experience where you get to see, of course, a lot more original creations than recreations of characters.
Yeah.
Conventions.
Very cool. Do you have any characters that you've really wanted to do that you haven't been able to so far?
Yes, actually, I'm thinking of doing Lobo.
Oh, awesome.
Even though I'm not a big comic book fan, not a big comic book geek, I do realize that it's a very good fit for my physique and the expressions and whatnot. It's kind of an anti-hero, It's very similar to Drogo. He's kind of a bit of a douche,
Yeah.
So it's always fun to play those characters.
Plus,
But
you could do the handlebar mustache very well.
exactly, so you require a lot more makeup than Drogo. That's a lot of even the hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bigger challenge than Drogo. You have to go, full white, full silver makeup. Probably even get more of that comic book bold proportions for the physique.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. It's I don't know when I'll do it, but it's definitely in the pipe.
Right on. So, were you always? I've seen you do. You do Blizzard Boot Camp, and when did they start doing that?
Blizzard Boot Camp, they started doing this corporate wellness program like 4 or 5 years ago for the company, and I immediately signed up
Mm-hmm.
because it was something that I liked. I was doing going to the gym and lifting weights. Before that, I did martial arts, so I was always pretty active.
Okay.
But it somehow caught my attention because were being trained by these professional strongmen, and it was different. You know, you get to flip tires, you get to carry yokes or carry these big anchor chains or farmer tanks that are super heavy. It's not your regular workout.
Yeah.
On top of that, we do all kinds of variations of the classic weightlifting exercises. The bench press, the squat, and the deadlift.
Very
cool. But it was unconventional. So I signed up, and I've been doing it for almost 5 years now. But it was during the period where I decided to be Drogo, a year before I did that Halloween party at Blizzard, that I decided, hey, I need to really seriously commit to this, because I need to shape my physique to a Dothraki mold. And I really got seriously invested in going to boot camp, attending every class, changing up my diet, and that's how I constructed the Dothraki physique. But yeah, I love doing it. Blizzard boot camp is amazing because it gives such a strong balance, or strong complement to our sedentary lifestyle, or work style, should I say?
Yeah.
It's good.
What was the biggest change, like diet wise?
Saying no to baked goods, the yummy stuff, the donuts and the ice cream and all that stuff, all the good stuff. You just can't eat. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But in the process, though, I got to learn a lot about valuing healthy food options, food choices. So. Yeah. I know. Your palate changes once you switch over to a diet like that. All of a sudden, when you're on that specific diet, and you don't do any of that sweet stuff, your palate changes. And once you do eat a certain food that you didn't have before, it almost becomes too sweet for your palate, and your body immediately says, "It's weird. It doesn't taste that good."
Yeah.
It's off-putting almost, so it changes you.
Well, good. So what would you say your favorite new healthy dessert or snack is?
Well, I've got one which I heavily promote to anyone.
Okay.
It's something I found out when I was doing the intensive workouts, and I watched this documentary about this Icelandic strongman, and he's 4 or 5 times world's strongest man. He was a strongman from the 80s and the early 90s. His name is, what's his name? All these Icelandic guys, they have interesting
crazy names, yeah.
Let me look that up. Anyway, I was looking at the documentary of this strongman called Jan Paul Sigmarsson, and about his life and about his training method, and one of the things that he said was like, yeah, what's up with these people over there in Iceland that get so strong, because it produces a lot of strongmen in that country, and it's something in their diet, it's something in their territory, in their country, which makes up for these strong dudes. Mm-hmm. And his answer was like, well, it's the skyr. Skyr is Icelandic yogurt, and it's very low on fat, very low in sugar, and it's milk extract basically, but it's got tons of protein in it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, wow, what's this power food, man? I want to try it out. It sounds very interesting. So I went to online and see where you could get this skyr here in the U.S., and you can get it at plenty of supermarkets these days here. But yeah, skyr. It's spelled Skyr, and it's delicious. It's the only go-to dessert of mine.
Yeah,
I love it.
Awesome.
That's my awesome thing. And then of course you got the protein bars, which are also pretty yummy.
Yeah.
I swear by skier. That's my jam.
So I was a big dark chocolate fan,
Uh,
and that's one of the things that I kind of missed. And I figured out how to do. I was on a ketogenic diet, which is, for those who are listening who don't know, is incredibly high protein, a bit higher fat, and next to no carbs.
mm-hmm.
And so I was cutting for a fitness show, and I ended up doing a tablespoon of cocoa powder, tablespoon of coconut oil, and then a teaspoon of like organic raspberry jam, and mixing it up, letting it set, and it tastes like the inside of a chocolate truffle, and still has very, very little sugar. And I could only eat about half or a fourth of it for a sitting, but it was just enough at that point that I could make it through without devouring something horrible. But yeah, skier definitely sounds awesome.
You should try it out. It's good stuff.
Yeah. So I know you've been well sought after recently for a lot of projects. You have one coming up, which is Men of Cosplay. What's going on with that? Tell us about that project.
Men versus Cosplay. It's an interesting project. It's basically a calendar project, and they had one last year, and it's very original because you don't see a lot of male cosplay calendars.
Mm-hmm.
And they approached me and said, "Hey, you want to be in the calendar?" I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like an awesome idea." Like, because I already had pictures done for Drogo, and I just supplied them with the pictures. And I'm like, "Cool, go ahead, have fun." But they decided that I would be the cover model for that calendar project, so that's quite an honor. Like if you would come to me a year ago, with something like this, a project like this, and telling me that I was going to be a cover model for a calendar, I would have been like, nah, no way, get the heck out of here,
Yeah.
I wouldn't believe you, but it's like, wow, being part of that is very, very cool, especially for things such as cosplay, being in people's walls and refrigerators. I guess that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's Rogo.
So I know you're starting to get a following, but after San Diego Comic-Con, you got posted on the front of a ton of online articles and things like that. Have you noticed your fan base increasing at all?
Not a whole lot. My fan base, basically the fan base that I got was like the first time that I did Drogo.
Mm-hmm.
That was in November, and that exploded. I actually did not have a page set up.
Okay.
So one of my friends, he asked, hey, you should make a page out of this. It's pretty cool that you can have your own cosplay page and show all your pictures. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll make one. And then people started just to come in after that. After that Halloween performance, it's crazy. And then I did a second shoot with Becky Watts, who is we cosplay as that power couple, Daenerys and Drogo together, and that also led to a surge of a lot of fans all of a sudden. Yeah. But recently, it's like, no, maybe San Diego Comic-Con, it was more for fun,
Yeah.
Because I never brought Drogo to a convention. Previously, it was just done for a performance in my company and then 2 shoots.
Mm-hmm.
One that I did directly after the performance, and then the second one was with Becky.
Yeah.
Doing Daenerys.
And then you also do Ask Westeros?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So Ask Westeros is this series, this comedic series based off of Game of Thrones, where all the the characters they answer questions of the fan base, and it's very comedic, and it's led by one of the co-creators of Ask Westeros. Her name is Jeannie DiGiuseppe, and she does a killer Arya Stark. Like, she is spot on, look-alike Arya Stark from Game of Thrones, and she performs in that show as well. But after the Halloween show that I did, they desperately wanted me to be Drogo, and I'm like, I'm going on a vacation, and there's a lot of stuff going on in Blizzard. I really can't commit because you have to prep for that show. You have to put on makeup and put on the hair extensions. It's a 3 to 4 hour process.
Oh wow!
That in order to transform yourself into this character. So I told him, okay, well, here's the deal. Like, I'm going to do Drogo, and next time with Becky, if you guys can come in with a film crew, and then we'll immediately do the scenes, and then afterwards I can do the shoot. So I'll have, 2 birds with 1 stone, basically. And it was like a week before they were going to premiere with the first episode. So that was crazy, but it turned out all right. And I'm glad to be a part of that show. It's a funny show. Yeah. That's Westeros.
And you're speaking Dothraki when you're...
Yes. That was one of the things that I had to do for my original Halloween performance was, okay, this guy doesn't... Because the whole Halloween performance thing in Blizzard is that you got some judges on the other side, and then you do your own performance, and then the judges get to ask questions. Then you got to answer in character.
Yeah.
Specifically, Drogo, he doesn't speak English. In Game of Thrones, he only has like 2 or 3 lines in English.
Yeah.
And basically, it's this barbarian dude that only speaks his native tongue, Dothraki. So what I had to do is, I had to go in and either learn some words, learn some sentences, or make it sound believable enough that it would sound like Dothraki. I did that for the Halloween performance. That caught their attention, of course, because I don't think a lot of cosplayers do that. Go to that length to even the Drogo cosplayers to learn or go into Dothraki mode.
Yeah.
So then they actually got someone in Ask Westeros to translate the lines in true Dothraki, and then I had to memorize a whole bunch of lines in Dothraki, and that was fun. It's very cool.
Did you pick it up quickly, or was that like a thing you had to work on quite a bit?
There were some shorter lines, but specifically one line that really got to me was it's a joke where in the first episode, Khal Drogo, since he's the horse lord, the Dothraki culture centers around horses, and basically it turns out that Khal Drogo in the show, of course, jokingly is a big brony or a big My Little Pony fan. So he goes on and lists all these My Little Ponies and why they're so awesome. So it was like 5 or 6 My Little Ponies, and it's just because I'm not a fan of the show, right? So I had to go in and do some research and see what the characters were all about, just to get that performance right, But that took me a good solid, maybe 3 or 4 days to just memorize My Little Ponies. But to me, that was the golden performance right there. It was the funniest one, I think.
Right on.
Really hit the mark in that one.
Awesome.
It's hard, tough stuff, but funny in the end.
Right on. So you are going to be coming up kind of our neck of the woods. Is it the weekend after PAX?
Weekend after PAX, yeah, exactly.
So we're up in, for those who are listening, we are up in Renton near Seattle, Washington. And a few of my crew are up here. So Jinx, which who recently went down and got to visit you down in LA. And then Becky Watts is here, and a few other people. And so we're hoping to get a workout, possibly a hike going when you get here.
Nice. That would be awesome.
So,
that would be sweet. Just a hike? No gym?
No workout. Workout plus hike.
Oh, workout plus hike. That sounds good.
Yeah. But if anyone is in the area, we would love to have you. We'll be taking photos and everything like that, and probably just having people wear like superhero shirts or something like that.
That's funny.
You don't have to come in cosplay because you'll probably sweat it off. But how do you feel about promoting fitness in the cosplay community, I know you're very much a fitness person, but do you actively try to encourage people to work out, or is it something that you just encourage by doing yourself?
I would say so, encouraged by example, but I don't directly go out and say you have to do this and
Mm-hmm.
do this exercise or follow this diet. Um, even promoting fitness in general,
Mm-hmm.
promoting fitness in general to cosplay community. I don't know. It's something that comes with the character, of Drogo.
Yeah.
But I would say that something that interests me about your project, the CosFit project, is I've never heard of that before, where you take, cosplay or costume making and then combine it with fitness. That's like, it makes sense, because there's a lot of powerful, bold characters out there, these superhero physiques. It is interesting, of course, to promote that, and so that cosplayers could be a lot healthier and maybe approximate the characters that they want to portray.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting combination.
Yeah.
But in terms of actively promoting, I don't know. Like nowadays, I just sometimes I post some fitness stuff on my own page and see if people like it. And people love seeing. Um, you know, seeing other people just drag tons of weight or lift tons of weight, it's quite a spectacle. So, sometimes you can say, hey, look, like I can flip an air 50-pound tire, multiple times in a row. That's, it's impressive.
One of my favorite videos that you posted was, I believe it's your birthday workout.
It was my birthday workout. Oh my goodness. That's, so on my birthday, 3rd of May, for some reason, some inexplicable reason, my trainer got a hand of my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it was on a Saturday, which was one of our boot camp days, and instead of giving you a present, you get an extra workout at the end of the day. So, they put on something called a death medley, what they call in strongman terms. It's basically you do a farmer's walk. You have to carry big heavy weights one lane, and then there's a big tire waiting for you there. You got to flip it a couple times, and then you drag an anchor chain. So that was tough. That was one of the heaviest things that I've ever done.
So for the farmer's carry, are those like repurposed torpedoes, or what were those?
Repurposed to be. We call them farmer tanks.
Okay.
But it's much cooler to call them blue torpedoes, I guess. But they sure look like them, and they got these little trolleys that they use to put them on and just carry them to a location. It just looks like a torpedo, and just hang up on a plane and turn into a submarine, and it'll be good to go. But it's. No, we call them farmer tanks, and I don't know what they are.
That was the closest thing I could think of.
It's a very peculiar implement.
Yeah.
But everything is, yes. The reason why it's called farmer walk is because, well, they're trying to simulate a lot of high intensity, hard labor or construction work. So you do a lot of dragging and even something called the yoke, right? That's something out of the farmer's work, Also, sandbags and kegs, all those crazy implements that they've got. That's I think is a good representation of what strongman is. It's just lifting and dragging or carrying heavy odd objects from point A to B in record time.
What's your best time, or what is the thing that you were most proud of that you accomplished in one of those workouts?
I would say the farmer tanks, and then also the tire.
Okay.
Flipping an 850-pound tire, that is the highlight of my boot camp. It's like, wow, I can flip an 850-pound tire. It's actually very impressive.
Yeah.
It was like a little toy. It's fun too. It's a whole body workout. You get a very, very good workout after that. And yeah, not a lot of people can do that, especially you know normal people. Because I started out doing this boot camp stuff, this distilled strongman training like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Back before I was doing regular gym stuff, So it's really an indicator that anyone can do that if you put a lot of hard work in.
Yeah. So when I saw your Jim Raynor, you were quite a bit smaller.
Mm-hmm.
How much muscle or how much weight have you put on since then?
I'd say, so the first time I did Drogo,
Mm-hmm.
and the journey leading up to that, I think I gained like about, I'd say 9 to 10 pounds.
Okay.
And I lost a pound half a year later, and then we got into a very intense boot camp season again, and then I gained 7 pounds more.
Okay.
That was leading up to San Diego Comic Con.
So you're up about, 14, 15 pounds of muscle?
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So
It's both diet and that exercise that we get. It's just clean food and good food, lots of protein, and the workout that we do.
yeah, awesome.
But we don't look like bodybuilders, like we're not gonna. That's the interesting part about that workout, that boot camp workout, is that we keep hypertrophy to a minimum because you do so many varied exercises.
Yeah.
That, your muscles never get a chance to adapt. So you get leaner, you get more of a toned physique, but we never become bodybuilders anyway.
Yeah. For those who don't know, hypertrophy is kind of the term for muscle building, or ripping apart a muscle so it'll grow back stronger. So, but that's awesome. Congratulations on all your hard work paying off, by the way.
Yeah, it's
So,
glad to be in this state. And I continue to do this stuff because it feels good,
Yeah.
It's good for cosplay because you get to represent these bold characters with your physique, but it's also good for health.
very cool. Do you have any, since you are in Blizzard, is there anything that you can tease for us that is coming out soon?
We recently released the World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor cinematic. That was this week. That was the big thing, and you should all check it out because it's very amazing. That's the big one that we had this week.
Right on. I think I mentioned this to you a while ago, but Hearthstone I have to put down now and again because it's quite addicting.
Hearthstone, yes.
Yeah.
It's very fun to play.
Yeah. Well, I have yet to play a Blizzard game I have not enjoyed. Your company does fantastic work in that regard. So, congratulations in that.
What's your favorite game?
To be honest, I would have to say World of Warcraft 3. I know it's a little older now.
Warcraft 3, the strategy game.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love StarCraft 2 and World of Warcraft. I had to quit because my life was being sucked away because it's an amazing game. But World of Warcraft 3, I don't even know how old it is now, but it was phenomenally done. Loved all the characters and really good cinematics, especially for the time. They were beautiful and incredible, and yeah, still one of my favorite ones if I can get on my old computer, which still runs it. So, yeah, I've loved Blizzard since I was a little kid.
Have you checked out the latest cinematic for Warlords of Draenor?
I have not yet.
So there's a lot of references to Warcraft 3 in that cinematic. I think you're going to geek out if you see them.
Oh, good, because I will, to be honest.
There's a lot of orcs and a lot of good stuff that made Warcraft.
Yeah. One of the things I really have loved about Blizzard is when they update a game, they continue with the storyline and they've built these really great characters versus just focusing on the action or like the gameplay itself. They've built a story with it, which is beautiful and stunning. And yeah, so and then you help make them beautiful. So
I'm not directly involved in making the games. I've always been the one that is more involved in marketing the games, like promoting them, either through website content or graphics or videos or stuff like that. So
very cool.
It's
Well, even that you and your team have made some really incredible stuff. Some of my favorite like teasers and trailers. And did you help make that commercial with Mr. Pandaria?
Which one is that?
For World of Warcraft, Mr. Pandaria, when the Panda expansion came out.
Yeah.
That commercial was amazing. So if you got to work on that at all.
No, not at all. That was before I was in the video department.
Okay. Well,
I was the web team then, but yeah, that one is very good too. It's got a comedic flair between the panda and the orc and the human.
Yeah. So, but if you're doing stuff like that, you guys are doing great work. So, I'm impressed. So before I let you go, I guess to recap, you're going to be hopefully doing some new cosplays in the future, one of which is going to be Lobo. If you haven't donated to the Kickstarter of Men vs. Cosplay, how many days left is...
It's 3 days. 3 days left.
3 days, and you're trying to hit $1,000 more for the...
extra edition of 6 more men in the calendar, so upgrading it from a 12-month calendar to an 18-month calendar.
Awesome.
And it's like 900 now, 900 to go. So it's 3 days.
Okay. So if you haven't donated yet, even if you donate $1 or $5 or whatever you can give, please donate to this phenomenal thing and promote men in the cosplay community. And once again, I look forward to seeing you come up here, and we'll get a workout together, hike. And if anyone wants to join us, that would be awesome. So
sounds good. Sounds amazing.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being on the program. Once again, Renee or Khal Drene. And have a wonderful night, everyone. And I will talk to everyone later.
See you guys.